You don't have to be in a religion to be in a cult. If you are in a closed social unit where someone in that unit can do no wrong, cannot be questioned in any way, cannot be held accountable for anything, and everyone just has to constantly be boosting their ego and saying how wonderful and amazing they are, and if anyone criticizes them in any way, they're cut out from that group, and the other people turn on that person, that is also a cult, in my personal opinion. I've been in religious cults before. I've escaped from those things. I believe that even without any religious element, it is still possible to have the same exact problems, the same issues, but then instead of it revolving around a god or rules or whatever it is, it would just revolve around a human being and their rules, and they define what is reality. They define what is right. They define how you can think and what you can feel and what you're allowed to do. And I think that, unfortunately, there is not really a way to get people who are stuck in that to see it for what it is unless they are willing to. And it can be extraordinarily painful to have made it out of something like that, to see it for what it is, to see someone who is a predator for who they are, and to know that you are not able to convince other people still stuck in it to be fully honest about what it is. But the reality is that these people get away with it through lying. They get away with it through feeding into these things where they don't take no for an answer. They just surround themselves with people that they can directly control and who they can control the narratives over and who they can control what information they're getting access to. So they're never going to see the full story or hear the full truth from the people who've made it out. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that you can't help people get out of it. You can just hope and live in as an example of someone who's gotten out of it, and hope that at some point they'll be honest enough to face it and take themselves out of it. The other part is that it's really, really hard when you are out of an abusive dynamic to be around people who are still in abusive dynamics. It can be really, really hard to be around people who are themselves, in a way, survivors, but who are not. I'm gonna have to check what that is. I don't know if that came up on camera, but there was a sound of a splashing cup falling. Anyways, it can be really hard to be around people and to be reminded of your own past. It can be painful to be reminded of the abuse you went through, even if it's just a small and simple reminder of just this person is still stuck in it. And they're not necessarily, or as far as you know, not necessarily going to be aware of it. And there's also the thing that even when someone does grow aware of abuse, does grow aware that someone is a predator, does grow aware that they are in an unhealthy dynamic that is no better than a cult, that they may still not be supportive of another person who lived through it and survived it and got away from it. They may still choose to not support another person or give that person the support they need, at least. Or that person may wish that they had. And the reality is that you kind of just have to accept these things, unfortunately. You have to accept that other people are not necessarily, even if they get out of it, going to be sympathetic towards you, even if you took... I'm thinking how to word this. If you were abused by someone like this, one of these cult leaders, but it's not religious, one of these predators for a long time, someone else who survived them is not necessarily going to have your back. And unfortunately, this is something that you have to accept because there's no way to force someone else to care about you. You cannot force someone else to engage with you. You cannot force someone else to give a crap about what you've been through. You cannot force someone else to hear your side of the story when they've only been fed one side of the story before, they've only been given one narrative that most likely is from the abuser and is completely dishonest and disingenuous, but there's nothing you can do about it. What I can do and what I will do is try my best to live my own life and to take care of myself. And what I can do is to try and be honest and call things what they are, show things what they are, to be real about it, whether or not other people can handle it, whether or not, people are ready for it, to be real, but also try and be respectful of other people at the same time. So I bring this up because I know that there's other people who've essentially been through this, and I know that other people have been in these dynamics that are truly no better than cults without there needing to be any religious component or any spiritual component in that.